Hello and welcome, my space snails. How you doing today? It's Chris here, and we've got the catapult monkeys on the left, the Spikapults. These are 3-2 catapult monkeys here versus the crossbow monkeys. So bottom path versus top path dart monkeys, and we want to see basically who's better. Who's going to be doing more damage in like some regular type of rounds and some regular type of gameplay. And I think your first thought is going to be, oh my god, Chris, oh my god, my panties are in such a bundle right now. There's 3 catapults, there's 3 spikapults, but only 2 crossbows. How could this possibly be fair? Well, if you go up and you look at the monies on the top there, we subtract from 100k. We spent just under $3,000 on the Spikapults, and we spent about $2,500 on the Crossbow Monkeys. So there's about a $400 difference, actually. But in realistic terms, that's really not going to make that much of a difference here, but you probably should keep that in mind at least a little bit. So we're just sending out some normal rounds right now. We're sending out round 15 right now, you can see. Actually, both of them are doing a very, very good job so far. As far as positioning goes, I don't know if there's any perfect positions for any of these guys. Crossbows usually somewhere in the middle of the map that they can shoot short of stronger balloons. Catapult monkeys usually lose a little bit further back in the map where they can clean up the grouped balloons coming through and stuff like the lower level big chunks of group balloons. So of course those catapults, those can just slice and slide right through those big beefy balloons like that. They just keep on going, man, no matter how many balloons are in a row. It doesn't matter. So, what we're moving up to is round 33 already, and surprisingly, we still haven't even lost a single life. Just these 2 crossbows and just these 3 juggernauts, or catapults, have been taking on everything. I'm a little impressed by that, to be completely honest with you guys. I felt like that shouldn't have happened, actually. I was like, yeah, really? That's pretty interesting. So, now we're moving on up into round 31. I just wanted to see round 31 here as well. And looks like same thing, fairly similar here, guys. The crossbows are just doing a great job. What you got to realize about these crossbows is that they slice through like the exact perfect amount of layers for blacks and whites. They're like ideal for middle tier balloons here. They can slice through blacks and whites with like no issues whatsoever. Zebras are a little bit more tricky because you do end up with red balloons in the end. And then rainbows still not a big deal at all, man. So they're solid all around. Catapults, as you can tell, they are going to lose a lot of lives here. We're going to lose about 70 lives on round 31, which is a pretty decent amount of lives. And you can tell it's mostly because our catapults were not getting the full root popping power that they wanted to get. They were actually missing a lot. And I think that's the main thing that you're probably going to take out of this video so far, is that catapults, almost no matter what, on any normal rounds right here, guys, are not normally going to get the max popping power out of themselves, okay? You're rarely going to ever have your catapults actually your whatever those things are, the spikes, disappear from popping so many balloons. Whereas the crossbows are actually gonna get the max popping power out of most of their shots, unless they overdo it by overkilling balloons, like killing reds or blues down into nothing instead of greens down into nothing. You're probably getting almost the max popping power out of your crossbow. So it's actually pretty interesting. And that's why actually crossbows end up doing a little bit better, usually, in the early part of the game. They're accurate, they can get the exact right amount of damage and the exact right amount of stuff, and they're just kind of good overall. So, so far, I definitely have to give it to the crossbow, even though it is a very, very close race. Keep in mind, though, that the Spikapults do have like $500 more, and normally you're not going solo triple Spikapults either, but I mean, that's the kind of game we're playing with right now. Maybe it was a bad episode of BTD Science, but at least I wanted to try it out just to see what's going on here. And you can tell, again, something big and beefy like that, of course, we are going to end up losing some lives as well. So Crossbow is pretty much undefeated so far, as far as everything's concerned. Well, how about against a Moab class balloon, though? I mean, is this going to be anything different over here? Well, you can see the crossbows still doing a surprisingly good job right now. They're actually damaging the Moab-class balloon. I didn't even think they were going to damage it at all. But I guess because they do so much actual damage, every single one of those arrows is doing 3 damage per shot. That's not too bad, man. Spikapults, they got nothing on it. That's the best way to... I would call it pretty much close to nothing. Now, I did go with Spikapults that have the extra speed, not the extra pierce, because I just feel like it doesn't, or not the extra range, because I feel like it doesn't matter as much. I'd much rather have the extra speed over the extra range, because if you're throwing thousands upon thousands of these, spikes, you're going to end up doing some real damage here. All right, so now we're kind of going a little bit bigger now. We're going a little bit, closer to where you catapults might start to take over in power right here. Making sure we got them on the right positioning here, last and first and everything like that. And so far, we are doing a pretty freaking solid job over here. Heck to the yeah. We are taking it down. Where the crossbows, they're just getting a little bit too far overwhelmed. And they're going to end up losing a lot more lives. We're talking about 680 to, only just over 500. So a full 125 or 150 lives, whatever that is, more for the crossbows lost later on in the game. So like I was saying, the crossbow's accuracy is starting to, fail them at least a little bit. They're not doing quite as well. So now I want to test out against another round that's actually very problematic for the crossbows, round 49. Now the reason why this is so bad is because, guess what? Those green balloons are tanking all of the possible damage that we could be doing to higher tier balloons like rainbows and such and ceramics and such. They're just tanking the crap out of it. So while the spike-a-pults are just kind of randomly flinging things everywhere, just sort of hitting some balloons here and there every once in a while, the crossbows get to do almost nothing. So in the end, who is actually better? Who should you use in your game? Well, always, in most cases, a good combo is probably best. But I do have to say that I really like the crossbows in most situations. I feel like the mixture of damage and pierce together is something you don't really see very often in Bloons Tower Defense 6, or even Bloons Tower Defense in general. You just don't see it. So having that as part of the game is pretty cool. And if you use them properly, you put them sort of closer to the front, they're probably going to do a lot better job without having to worry about putting them on first, close, last, strong, moving around, or doing anything weird like you're going to have to do with the catapults. If you guys enjoyed, press the like button, subscribe, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.